So this is kind of bizarre. Not not just kind of. This is very, very bizarre. So the NVIDIA Shield is a platform released by NVIDIA. I want to say maybe back 2013, 2014, a few years ago. It started out as just kind of like a large controller-sized handheld that would flip open like a DS, but you just have one screen, and then the bottom half of it would be the controller. I think there's a couple different models of it. The first model was not very ergonomic at all. Like, all the buttons were kind of sunk into the unit to make room for the screen when it was closed. And then the second, I think they did better with the second model. There's also an NVIDIA Shield tablet and also an NVIDIA Shield TV, which I believe goes all the way up to 4K, believe it or not. Now, I'm not sure if all of these units or if it's just the portable and the TV unit that's been released over in Japan, but apparently on December 5th, no, not Japan, China, this unit has been released in China. And if you know anything about the Chinese game industry, it's in its infancy, because games have pretty much just been made legal, for companies to even sell game consoles there. A lot of the stuff that they used to have would be off the black market, but now it's actually, coming a normal market, and it's going to be just like anywhere else. But this is really strange. I don't think Nintendo has launched any of their consoles over there yet, with the exception of something called the iQ, which was like a Nintendo 64 era console that I want to say you could basically get a cartridge that you could load a game onto it at a store and then go back and erase the game and get a new game on that same cartridge. It was a weird system, but that's been the only one over there. And the Shield has actually launched with some GameCube and Wii titles. Completely legit, by the way. These are not bootlegs or anything like that. And the titles that actually come pre-installed on the Shield are The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, the GameCube version, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and Punch-Out! And these games have also they've also been upscaled to an HD resolution. Not sure if it's 720 or 1080p, but
1080.
1080. Okay. But yeah, they're so. This is crazy for so many different reasons. Nintendo has just gotten into the smartphone market this year. Started with that Mii game.
I think it was Miitomo.
Miitomo, right? I keep wanting to say Tomodachi Life, but that's the 3DS game. But yeah, Miitomo, followed by Super Mario Run, and then we got. Then we also got.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, and before that, the Fire Emblem game. So it's been kind of a busy year for them, it's kind of not too many people were thinking that it was too weird for Nintendo to release smartphone games. I guess we've gotten used to it already. But this is not a smartphone. This is almost like a rival company's device. I'm not saying Nintendo's going third party. I don't think anyone's jumping to that conclusion. What I do think this is I think this is a result of the relationship that exists between Nintendo and NVIDIA now, since NVIDIA powers the Switch. In fact, they have a very similar chip the processor for the Switch is very similar to the processor for the Shield. It's just like an updated version of that processor. And I think that's going to be important. But before I get into that, what do you think of this? Do you think this is good, bad, wacky? What?
I think it's pretty weird to see a licensed Nintendo games not hacked onto anything, but legally able to purchase on a different console that isn't Nintendo based.
Right. I guess I don't see Nvidia as a competitor.
How do you feel about that, Nvidia?
Couldn't tell you. I do think that some people are saying this, and I agree with them. I do think that this is kind of a sign of things to come on the Switch. I think this might be a bit of a test market to see how well these games perform on something that's a little bit weaker than the Switch. Because think about it, if it's weaker than the Switch, then it can run on the Switch. So the Switch could run. I don't know if I don't think this is an emulation that's going on. I think that these are, games that have been ported to the Shield. So if they could do it on the Shield and they're doing 3 games, I don't know, it just seems to me like you could very easily get those 3 games over to the Switch, and then it doesn't seem like it'd be much work to get other games over. And I think you and I were talking about this earlier this week. I don't think it's a bad idea for them to bring almost any Wii U game over to the Switch. Like we've seen, shared titles would include Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Bring more. I feel like there's a whole buffet of games on the Wii U that a lot of people haven't played because a lot of people didn't buy a Wii U. Of course, Smash Brothers needs to be on there, but you have Wii U games, and then in the meantime or in between those ports, have your teams working on getting GameCube and Wii titles over to it also. Like, who wouldn't love to have a Super Mario Galaxy on there?
Could play that
on the Switch. So yeah, crazy, great. Nintendo is really doing things. They're beating their own drum, but they're beating it a bit differently these days. We'll see how that turns out.